And welcome to the Refined Peasants, and today we're talking about our top 5 games. Board games, video games, who cares? I think we all here love games, board games, video games. We all pretty much enjoy it as a hobby.
Yeah.
Why would you say? You like video games?
Yeah. Everything from video games, board games, phone games.
I probably get a lot of... Well, I play a lot less mobile games than some of my generation. I get a lot less time for video games these days. But we can definitely go into some of my favorites. It's obviously been a slow news week besides our last podcast, so...
Yeah.
We're going to do something fun and something we don't have to kill each other over, though if one of you guys says Skyrim is bad, I'm going to have to.
You're going to hate me. All right, Garrett, go first. Top 5. Number 5.
Number 5. So there used to be this game called Spore. It's an old PC game. Yeah, it was back when I was a kid.
I was going to say, that's like in the late 90s, right?
You basically came and you started as a single cell and you were eating other
cells. Oh, yeah.
I
played like a
slowly
modern...
advanced, and as you ate, you could evolve and turn into it. So graphics are terrible.
Yeah, I played it. I played on the school's computers. Yeah.
Gravity's terrible. All of it's terrible. But for me, when I played, it was freaking fantastic. It was very customizable. So, like, you could build a dragon, or you could build a birdman, or you could and, like, as you evolved, the world evolved with you. So, like, your predators would change, and based on what they killed, they would change in certain ways. Mm-hmm. It was great. So, Spore is number 5.
Interesting. I've never heard of it, so...
Well, why? What's your number 5?
Number 5. I'm going to have to say... probably Red Dead Redemption 2.
Wow, that's your number 5.
Yeah, wow.
That's intense. It probably doesn't even make my list, to be honest. But
that's fine.
So I think everyone, especially most people, know Red Dead Redemption 2 released a few years ago, 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Still pretty modern and all that. To me, it's a really good game. It's on my list. It's higher than 5.
It's just the reason it's hard to believe is because so much hype came out about that game. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 came out and everyone shit their pants over Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, because everyone loved. A lot of people love Red Dead.
It was good. It was really good.
I will say one big positive of it is so people were spending 6 months in the game and not knowing how to fast travel. Like it really lets you discover things on your own.
Right.
So you had to really explore in depth.
And it's small enough you can honestly still do it.
Oh yeah, I did it all the time. And the funny thing is, you get to so far in the campaign, and you blow up train tracks like a bridge, and after that, you can no longer fast travel through trains because the bridge is out, which I thought was fun. It was just a tiny detail that made the game. It's like you can't fast travel.
That's kind of the thing is
because he's like, oh, you can't use a train because the bridge is gone. No trains can get in and around. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Garrett's gonna hate me. Number 5 is Skyrim.
Not everyone's a hack and slash RPG guy.
I like Skyrim. Y'all are going to hate me. I think a different Bethesda game is better.
Nah.
I preferred it. But Skyrim to me was a pretty good game. I love the main quest. The DLCs were good.
What's your number 5?
Skyrim.
Oh, Skyrim is your number 5.
My biggest issue with Skyrim is the classes didn't matter. Realistically, everyone...
They didn't have classes, did they?
Well, so basically,
Well, he's saying that it's not like a real RPG. He's saying that, you could basically... if you were, level 40, you could decide, you know what, I want to be an archer, and you could do that.
So the
Whereas if you tried to do that in Oblivion, you were screwed.
Yeah, so the problem...
you haven't built up 40 levels of archery.
My main problem is, nothing matters... None of sword, shield, magic, all of it goes out the window once you realize that sneak archers give you almost the top of it. They're the best thing in the game. Because at some point you get so high, he killed Shadowmere, which was an unkillable person at the time. Is how OP Wild.
But that's not... So I used to have... when you get to a point, I always, no matter what my character was, I maxed out enchanting and smithing because I wanted that sweet, sweet, sweet dragon bone armor. And what I would do is I would max out that in my enchanting. And for my mage character, I just had dragon scale armor that all did 25% reduction in destruction magic. So, the master level lightning spell where you Kamehameha? Mm-hmm. I could just do it forever. Yeah. I just did the wind up, and I could literally shoot dragons out of the sky. And I could sit here and do it all day.
Wide over here could just do it with one arrow. Was that's the biggest thing. So that's the biggest thing. Is like
Sneak
no matter
Archer.
what, most people revert back to Sneak Archer because it's the easiest. You'll kill the most enemies quicker, especially high level enemies. The only thing that I loved about Skyrim was the Ebony Warrior because he, no matter what level you were, he was going to kill you a few times. And it's just
There's a rumor that the Ebony Warrior was a deity.
yeah.
A deity from the
Yeah.
Red Guards.
Yep. Yeah, there's a
'Cause you
whole
can find
there's a
him in
whole
a-
lore about
And
it.
you can find the lore in Arena.
He's the Dovahkiin of Redguard
Kind of.
mythologies. But so that's my top 5. Garrett, what is your number 4?
Number 4 is Oblivion. I thoroughly enjoyed Oblivion. I logged more hours in Bethesda games than anyone on fucking Earth. Like, I say that with
Confidence.
no.
I
evidence,
watched you.
But I played a bit of Oblivion backwards, forwards, sideways, and upside down. I did the same with Skyrim, and it really started me on the RPG genre. Like, it was the first RPG game that I played, and I could not get enough. And it has its faults. I'm not going to go into them here. But for really a lot of people, Oblivion started the RPG, exposed them to the RPG genre. Like the create your own. So like technically Red Dead Redemption is an RPG. It's just not a custom RPG. You can't build your own character and level them up.
Mm-hmm.
You play as a stag. It's like The Witcher is also an RPG. But this, you could create your own character, interact with the world, do quests. It was amazing. And you know, some of the quests were really cool. Like the scene where Akatosh bites off Mehrunes Dagon's head. Like it's great. It's iconic.
I love the Daedric quest.
Well, I think the Daedric quests in Skyrim are better. I mean, you get Mehrunes Razor. It's a insta-kill weapon. Not a lot, but it's still an insta-kill weapon.
Hey, you give it to your kid, and your kid could kill a giant. in one
Facts.
hit,
I've seen it.
and it's like no shot.
Right.
You know.
But so I'm sure we're going to talk more about Oblivion, but that's why it's number 4. It deserves to be on there for me at least.
Wyatt?
I'm gonna go with Warzone, and specifically
I never played.
why and when it came out. So Warzone had been a thing since 2019. When the game came out in November, they released Warzone in like February, and I didn't hop on. I just played Call of Duty, the multiplayer. And then 2020 rolls around, and they drop Warzone in 2020. And does anyone remember what happened in 2020?
Nope, it's just a two-year gap.
Nothing happened.
We all got to sit at home, and I got 2 months off of college. So everyone my age and their mom was playing it was the hottest game on the planet.
I remember
And it was-
sleeping at night hearing Wyatt yell at his best friends because they didn't do their job right at like 1 in the
Oh
morning.
yeah, and you know what? I was goddamn good too. I was so good, and my teammates sucked, and it's all their fault, and they couldn't do anything right.
It's their job to prove him wrong now.
Right, yeah, right. I've got screenshots, you bastards. Anyway, every so often on Snapchat, I get this, you know, where it says, it's kind of like Facebook. It shows you like what you posted 2 years ago or a year ago on this day, and all the time during the summer, like from spring to the end of summer, it's nothing but Warzone. So
He played it sun up, sundown.
It reminds me of Call of Duty when it first. Call of
Back
Duty
in the
Modern
day.
Warfare is not going to make my list, but that's where I cut my
So
teeth on.
imagine Call of Duty if it was like COD match, if it was Hunger Games and there was death chats. So you know at the end of the lobby where you could hear like 12 dudes and it was just the worst piece of the humanity on the planet for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Warzone took that, made it 150 people, and you just heard the worst of everything. You heard just at the very end, just all the time for
Like I say,
everything.
modern people couldn't survive an Xbox Live
Because
lobby.
that's humanity, fuckers.
The internet has turned us into very ugly creatures.
My number 4 is a game I played a lot growing up. And they're finally, after so long, going to bring it back. If they fuck it up, I'm going to kill EA. And that's NCAA 14. Garrett's not a sports fan.
Oh. I do like college ball, though.
I played that. I played every position. I've made a character for every position: lineman, quarterback, running back, defensive back. Played it all. Loved playing Road to Glory franchise. Loved it. And the only way to play it now is on an Xbox or PS2. Saddens me because most people think their original Xboxes are worth about $400. I tell them get fucked.
Yeah, well, with the Red Ring of Death, like...
Well, the games are also worth like $100 to some people. It's like, no. I love the game, but they're going to bring back college
NCAA I can see being worth that much.
It's 14 specifically. It's what most people say is the last great football game. One of the last.
Well, Madden's turned into total crap.
It's one of the last before Madden turns in, and I remember me and Wyatt played it a lot.
You would be hard to find someone who played NCAA and Madden that said that Madden was better than
NCAA. NCAA came out with newer features that went into Madden, and then Madden screwed up.
Well, my big beef with Madden was I used to love... I can't remember what year it was. It must have been 2016, 2017. But they used to have like a fantasy draft where you got 3 random cards and you had to pick one of them.
Yep.
And
oh yeah, we did used to
DraftKings.
DraftKings the gambling site.
No, but I think that it's something similar to that.
It's like a dream team.
I know what you're talking about. They used to be a lot of fun.
Right, actually. And then in the following year, the same thing. It cost you like two real dollars to play one round.
Yeah, you got to play like one for free a week or a day or whatever, and then after that you had to
pay per match, which I thought was
the same thing that happened to Call of Duty.
But NCAA 14 loved it.
What you had that number 4? I didn't even think about that game. I had to redo my list. But that's a good one. I'm sticking with my list.
Yeah. Garrett, number 3.
Gosh. We're doing all games, right?
Anytime in games.
Number 3 is... I did Oblivion. So I'll probably do... Skyrim at number 3. Because my top 2 are pretty unmovable.
I can respect Skyrim at number 3.
Skyrim, I bought it my freshman year at college, and I took a week off of college and just binged. I probably slept 4 hours throughout that week. I killed Skyrim. Oh. And then they came out with DLC. Like I at one point, I could look at the hours I had logged on Skyrim, and it was terrible. I could learn 3 different languages.
Thousands of hours.
And I've played everything. Like, so I understand, like, the default for a lot of people was the Sneak Archer, but there was so much potential. You could be a really good spellcaster. You could focus on dragon shouts, especially after Dragonborn. You could focus. Oh, yeah. They had werewolves. I was so fucking excited. You find them stupid early in the game, but yes. Like,
you can be a werewolf. You can be a vampire.
Yeah, Dawnguard introduced real vampires. The Daedra quests were awesome. Meridia, like everyone, there are memes on it. Like when you find Meridia's beacon, it's a giant eye roll. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Dawnstar has touched the beacon. That has haunted my dreams.
I fucking love it. Like that's like one of the best weapons in the game.
Especially with Dawnguard, it is.
Yeah. And there's a glitch where you can Fus Rodai. Like I had the Skyrim where I had the little voice box too.
Yeah.
So I would literally be sitting in the living room, Fus Rodai! I get to shout.
The Xbox Connect, yep.
I learned Yoltofjord, which is Fire Breath too. Like I had learned a few of them. I basically did learn another language, but it didn't benefit me. But it's another one of those. I'm a big RPG guy, and that's just my bread and butter. So.
Right. Okay.
Wyatt, top 3, number 3.
I'm gonna go with Oblivion at number 3.
Disrespect.
Yeah. Yeah, so the thing about Oblivion is that, number 1, so whenever it came out, I was 11. Number 1. I may have even been younger than that. When did Oblivion come out? Somebody Google it.
I don't know. We'll just roll with it. No point.
Yeah, whatever day Oblivion came out, and I was too young to really play, so I spent most of my childhood watching Garrett play Oblivion.
That's how most of these went.
And the cool thing about Garrett is that whenever he plays with something different basically every time. So I really did get to see everything. And then whenever I finally got old enough to play it, because you had one of those great big books, right? That like walks you and
it's like a player's guide to how each class and stuff's supposed to play. Yeah.
So I had that experience, and then whenever I finally got old enough to play it, I just went all out. I loved it. Loved everything about it. Loved all the Easter eggs. Loved everything about it. I tried to get every single achievement you could get in the game, which was difficult, but I still did it on that 360.
As it dies.
It'll be hard to top that, because whenever I saw Akatosh versus Marin's Dagon, I literally said no effing. I mean, it was like, I don't even know. It'd be like if the first time I watched Itachi fight Sasuke. Like, it's like Naruto pain level. That's how much, which I'm not a
Because
weeb.
Martin just, like, walks up to him and is like, "Oh, you fixing to die, dude." Oh!
Yeah.
It's...
So, unbelievably cool. And I also liked the thing that I hidden about that game that not a lot of people know. So before Shivering Isles, you're just a normal guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not the chosen one.
You are not the hero of that story, which is exactly how it should be.
Right.
You are just a dude.
That's kind of like my beef with like Skyrim. Is like I'd much rather be just some no guy and caught in the middle of this.
No. So I mean, most people I think want to be the hero.
Yeah,
And I'm cool with that, but I'm just saying that, like, it was nice, in Oblivion to be like, I'm not the dude that's gonna, like, I just sit and I watch.
you go do stuff
You
for the
could do
hero.
that. In Skyrim, no one's beating Alduin but you.
Right.
Like, no one's going to Sovngarde and fighting
And that's no
the
knock
demon
on
guy.
Skyrim either. I think Skyrim did the hero part right.
Yeah.
It would have been better if we would have seen Alduin fuck up some other people first.
Right. That's the thing with, like, you discover your Dragonborn way too quickly to me. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think that's a pretty...
Right. But, I thought Oblivion, great, solid game. Number 3 almost feels disrespectful, but there are only 2 other slots.
Yeah.
So,
Fair enough. Mine, Wide's already said, Red Dead Redemption 2.
that high?
I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. I didn't play the first game.
Oh, really?
I did. So I played a little bit of it, nothing religiously. But when Red Dead 2 came out, I played that a lot. And I still feel gypped on the online. Still upsets me that they haven't updated the online, but they're still doing GTA 5 updates. And loved the whole story. I loved Arthur Morgan's story, start to finish.
Arthur Morgan's story is just leagues better. Like, in my
Yeah, if we were going
Like-
to do, like, top 5 video game characters, he's up there.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I hunted all the legendary animals. I specifically went to go get a specific horse that only spawned at a certain location to get it, because it's the only...
the Arabian.
No, it's the only solid black horse in the game.
Oh.
And I got that, and that was my main horse. And I didn't know at the time, the horse dies at the end. Spoiler alert. Arthur dies, and so does the horse. And that's the only time I was like, damn.
He said spoiler alert. You should probably give more than, like, 2 seconds.
The game's been
before
out
you
for
spoil
3
the entire-
years.
Okay. Alright, that's fair.
You haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2. Go
Get a
play.
life.
Yeah, honestly. Touch virtual grass. But I thought the gun customizations, like I customized my whole guns, hunting it was great. I loved the game, start to finish. And even when I knew Arthur was going to die, because once you got TB, you know it's game over. You know he's going to die, but they did it in a way that still makes him come out good in the end, or bad in the end. It's all up to you how the ending plays
How
out.
you acted.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say one thing that we didn't mention about Red Dead 2 is it is visually stunning.
It's
The amount of
amazing.
detail.
It took them so long, and I'm glad they didn't rush it. I'm glad they waited and they put that much effort, because it's so gorgeous.
It's beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just going in and putting, like, the little panels on your guns, you can see the intricate detail.
The
that they put into this
carvings
game,
you
and
can
it's-
see.
And it doesn't matter what console. Like, I just play on a old Xbox, and it just fine.
Stunning.
I will say, here's my knock on the game, is that the replayability is not
It's
even close to, like, RPG stuff.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's really not. Because at the end of the day,
Well,
you
so
know,
one, it's too long. It's a 14-something hour game.
it took me 2 full days to complete.
Wow. So
And
that's-
that-
See, that's quick. Most people, it takes a couple of weeks, because
But I played almost-
14 hours straight.
I played
Yeah.
nonstop. I played almost sun up to sundown.
you have to do everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm taking, like, main story, probably 14 hours of straight gameplay. Like, that's impossible.
And most of it is I didn't want
You
to
know.
finish it. Because once he got TB, I know I didn't want to finish it because I knew he died.
That's not even the end of the game.
That's the thing. It's like it's almost in the middle. It's like, man, I just don't want to finish.
No, it's
'cause
not quite the middle, but...
it's about like the last 2 chapters ish after he gets back from Walmart. But I just didn't want to finish it because I was having so much fun. I'm like, I dreaded
With
the
Arthur.
end. I was like, man,
I liked Arthur's character more.
Yeah.
I like his he started off as just a bad guy, then you can morph him into a good guy.
I don't even know that he starts... Well, yeah, he kind of does start off. Like, he's shaking people down. He's basically doing whatever.
That's how he got TB. Was he's robbing a guy. But that's my number 3.
Shaking him down, but...
Beating
same
the
thing.
shit out of him. Garrett, you're number 2. Getting down to the wire.
So this is gonna be rough. I had it in my head, and I don't want to. My number 2 is chess. I love chess. I'll play chess by myself.
Why? What's your number 2? Yeah, continue.
So I mean, obviously, there's not a lot to go. It's not visually stunning. It's not very.
It can be if you get the right chessboard.
It can be. It definitely can be, or you can get download games or something. But it's not simple, but it's simple enough. And I mean, I'll sit in my shop and I'll literally have a board. I think I showed y'all. I built a rotating board so I can literally just rotate, and I'll play with myself for hours. I just love it.
Bet you do play with yourself for hours.
Got that right. And I got towels out there to clean up afterward.
I 100% respect that. I know an awful lot about chess, as you guys know.
It beats us.
I've beaten Wyatt, I think, twice in all the games we've ever played.
I beat him
years.
I beat him once, and that took chloroform.
And a bat.
I don't remember that. But I have a special love for chess. I used to go to competitions, believe it or not, folks.
You used to win competitions.
Hey, I was gonna say I won more than a couple. I think my chess rating is still it's the UCF, it's the United Chess Federation. I think it's not active anymore. I haven't played competitively in a long time, probably 6 years. But it was at one point. It was 1400, which is above average. I'd probably be 1,000, 1,100 chess player now, which is
just
middle of the pack. Yeah, middle of the pack. But yeah, I totally respect the choice. That's a good one. I came into this thinking just video games, so my list probably would have changed a little bit.
Well, so that was kind of the thing as I was going
that's
with.
That's a good one.
Well, Garrett, I know Garrett's number 1's probably.
No, don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it, but
that's the delayed punishment. All right, I'm not gonna do it. Whack!
Well, no.
You better not.
Sorry, buddy. That was awful hard.
I think I know what Garrett's number was. I have no idea what Wyatt's number 1 is.
I don't know either. I don't know what yours is either.
Oh, my 2 is gonna be fun.
I hope one of it's a Nintendogs.
No, I killed those dogs. I was terrible at Nintendogs.
But yeah, so like I said, chess is up there. I just enjoy playing it so much, and it's got a lot of history too. It goes back to like 11th century Europe. Like
it goes farther than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Indians invented it.
Oh, like Red Dot Indian, or
yeah. Like
it's like a Middle Eastern game,
and then it got adapted by the Spanish, and then
Genghis
Spanish.
Khan.
That's how it becomes like knight bishop.
Yeah, it went under some real evolution. I can't remember all of it now. I used to know it, but
Infographics does a great thing on it.
One of the oldest chess openings in history is called the Roy Lopez, but nowadays they just call it the Spanish opening. It's what I do all the time. It's the very primitive one where it's
the most common opening
because you get to castle almost immediately. Anyway,
Wyatt, number 2.
It's gonna be my comfort game. It's gonna be Minecraft.
No.
Minecraft. I forgot Minecraft.
I thought you were going to say Rocket League, but that makes a lot more sense now.
I was going to say Riley Reid.
Rocket League is good. It doesn't deserve top 5 in my opinion. I'm sorry.
It lacks anything. Like it's just soccer. Like nothing.
Soccer.
Same reason I couldn't make a football game unless it's NCAA.
Yeah.
Then. But Minecraft, kind of like Garrett, I have logged probably over 1,000 hours on that game because literally I'll just get a random 6-week Minecraft addiction.
And he will build a city.
And I literally...
What was it? You built the mountain generators.
Like I invented... Yeah, I was a kid. I was a Minecraft kid, and I invented this. Basically, it's whenever... God, we didn't even have slime blocks on Xbox or anything like that. Basically, you create a piston that moves and lets lava trickle down, and then every so often the piston will switch on a timer with
an arrow that shot into it.
Yeah, an arrow shot into a button that triggered a piston that triggered all this stuff, and it swapped the water with the lava, and it made a layer of cobblestone. And after like 20 hours of that, you got mountains.
Yeah, we would literally come in and he would put it together. He would put a new one up, and we would come in periodically and just make sure the system was still going. And eventually we had a range of 5 mountains.
It was when Xbox first ever got super flat.
Yeah, so back then they didn't have the giant mountains that they have now. Like pretty much a mountain was just a hill over 20 blocks big. Yeah. Now they have real mountains. But back then I had to make mountains on my own. And
Jack
I'll-
Mobile.
I'm not, dude. That's how I feel. That's how long. When I started playing Minecraft on Xbox, there was just survival.
I remember
I was like,
me
damn.
and Wyatt were so excited when horses came to Xbox.
Yeah,
And the first thing we did when we found out that they were confirmed coming to Xbox, we built stables, a big stable on a world, and the world size was tiny. Like you can stand on one end, see the other end. They were just tiny.
yeah. It's evolved so much, and I've tried to keep up with it, but I just it's
You don't have the time.
It's a game I come to just like I said. I'll just randomly be like, why don't I turn on Minecraft just see what's happening? And I'll play for 6 weeks, then I'll get bored, and And I strip mine like a mother too. So literally, I'll just play a podcast, listen to the podcast. I will mine 1,000 blocks that way, turn right around, mine. And people will look at me and they'll be like, how do you do that? And I'm like, well, I'm not just playing Minecraft. I'm also
Listening.
to podcast and I'll,
Plus, it's nice to kind of zone out, especially if you're listening to audiobooks. You have to pay attention. I'm listening to Paradise Lost right now, and if you miss a couple sentences,
It's big.
it's it's actually a really short book.
But no, it's like a
Other
big
ones.
sentence. You can every sentence is usually.
Well, it's written in old. It's written in the King's English,
It's
and then if you miss it, it's just it's all it's not poetic verse, but it's a poem. So if you miss it, it just you get lost, and you could. Well, wait a second. Anyway,
How's Dante here now?
So it holds
No, that's
a
next. That's
holds
the-
a special spot for me. So yeah, and it's
Nice.
probably one of the games I still play the most routinely out of my list.
There's a lot of repellability.
Do you play with other people, or do you play with just you?
It kind of depends. It is just kind of. So I used to all the time. Casey, our cousin, used to play.
Yeah.
Cade used to play. All my friends used to play, and so like whenever they would, I'd be like, "Why don't we try this today?" Sometimes they would. It just kind of depends. Now I haven't played in a while, so it's only a matter of time. But Nick, what's your number
Clock's
two?
a ticking.
Number 2 is my comfort game. One of them. Number 1 is my main comfort game, and that's Oblivion. Oblivion was the
Respectable.
first ever game I ever played. I was terrible at it, because like Wyatt said, we were young, didn't know what I was doing. As I grew up with the game.
Well,
Grew up
Oblivion's a
playing.
hard game for someone young to come in. Like you gotta grasp repairing your items, and
Yeah.
there's a
And-
lot of concepts like spellcraft.
Like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
Like growing up, I
Very
read a
expensive.
lot of basically medieval books and stuff like that, and I just saw Oblivion and said, "Oh, I can actually be a knight. I can be a mage. I can do all this." Like King Arthur, loved the story of King Arthur growing up. Loved Merlin, Arthur, all of them. And Oblivion let me do that.
That's a lot.
I played a
I
Lancelot.
respect him the most.
Yeah. Power move, Garrett. Power moves.
Gear wax.
But I think Oblivion had better DLCs. I love Knights of the Nine, Shivering Isle. I loved all of them.
I didn't consider Knights of the Nine. I had
I love-
forgotten about that.
It's in Skyrim now.
That's the one.
Knights
that's
of the
like
Nine is in Skyrim.
You get the armor and stuff. It's a
It's got to be a mod, right?
no. It's like the Creation Club thing someone made.
Yeah, you
But
can do it. I've seen it.
I loved
It's
Oblivion.
not the quest line.
The first thing I always do is go straight to the arena, beat the grand champion.
Oh yeah, you have to.
First, I don't care. First, I don't care how long it takes me. I don't care if he whips my ass 15 times. Eventually, I'm going to beat him. And that's just because you get gold really quick. You get a lot of gold, and then I go
Get
in.
fucking levels.
And
like just
after that, I go to Kvatch, do Kvatch, and then I just help Martin go out. I think the Daedric quests are much, much better than Skyrim's. Because to do Sheogorath, you literally go to a town and fulfill their prophecy, their doomsday prophecy. In the end, it rains fire wolves.
And goats, right?
Yeah, fire wolves and goats. And it's just so much. All the quests are fun.
Sheogorath's got such fun lore. But in Skyrim, you go and you make people hallucinate and slaughter each other.
That's true. It's like the Thieves
Wait, no,
Guild.
I'm thinking of Oblivion. I'm thinking of
Yeah,
Oblivion.
I was going to say that's the
Shared-
Fighters Guild, isn't it? Fighters Guild questline with the
Yes.
the Blackwood Company. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God, I remembered the Blackwood Company.
That's in Leowin?
The-
Or Bravil?
no, it's Leo.
The Dark Brotherhood, where you get to play a murder mystery, and you get more gold if no one finds out.
Yeah, so
The campaign
You got the proper Dark Brotherhood.
yeah. I was going to say the Dark Brotherhood
At
is
their-
a joke in Skyrim.
at their peak power.
I mean, literally, you have the option in Skyrim to wipe them out.
Like me,
Right.
I love being a Blades. Blades are at their peak. All the guilds are at their peak
Blade in
power,
Skyrim.
but not at their peak.
That's true. Everyone's decimated in Skyrim. Like,
That's the thing.
everybody's fucking dead.
And like so,
Well, the Empire.
to
died.
me, Skyrim, guilds do not compare at all to Oblivions. Oblivions have no, not a chance.
Okay, so I don't like particularly the Mages Guild, but that's just me in Skyrim.
You can create your own spell depending on how good.
But the
your
Fighters
character is.
Guild, I mean, just
So I like the
Fighters Guild's pretty meh.
compared to the Companions Allegory. Yeah, it's pretty meh.
I mean, I think simply
I don't
becoming a werewolf.
Yeah, but it all happens so quickly.
That's the thing. It's
The
like you
Fighters
become a
Guild-
werewolf, and you can't even use your werewolf to a full ability until Dawnguard, where you get the werewolf tree.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing to
But
me.
then when you do get to use it, pretty
Plus,
legit, you could summon other werewolves.
the more you level up, the better your encounters are. Because you get to fight minotaurs, ogres. You get to fight all these creatures. Like, oh, Skyrim. Oh, this is my 12th dragon. And they're all the same.
Hey, I need those dragon bones, okay?
Plus, Oblivion, like...
It's for my 15th set of dragon bone armor that I'm going to enchant with water walking
They make-
and water breathing, just in case.
Like, I remember there's a certain spot that I can still go to. You dive in the water, you get this water-breathing night vision helmet.
No, it's an anvil, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a glass helmet, yeah.
And
Like I said, I know all the Easter eggs, man.
enemies are a lot tougher in Oblivion than Skyrim. Like, skeletons from far. Ghost, you can't hurt with swords and stuff. You have to use magic.
Silver weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking remember that too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
To me, Oblivion is a much better RPG than Skyrim.
I would agree with that.
God, the more I listen to it, the more I might actually agree with you, but I'm not going to change it.
That's fine. Like, to me, Oblivion has always been better than Skyrim.
Okay, hang on. Well, it's time to shit on it a little bit here. Okay, so
That's fair.
the Oblivion Citadels get boring
Yeah.
because it's the same. There's only like 5 setups.
Yeah.
And every time now you get cool sigil stones that you can enchant weapons with and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's so repetitive and you do so many of them. And it's miserable. Okay? Downside to Oblivion is you can just be walking along and a level 30 something troll comes and just slaps you.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's not fun like when a giant does it. Okay? You don't get to learn to fly. He just slaps you into the ground.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're like, and then you die.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean,
So for sure the Thieves Guild is better. I wish they would take the Thieves Guild storyline and put it in Rift.
you get to become the Grey
Yeah.
Fox.
you know, I
Steal
would-
an Elder Scroll.
Somebody tells me that the original plan for the Thieves Guild in Skyrim was that something to do with the Blackbriar family and something about like you would be the Jarl of Riften, like you would do a big switch. But it got conned for what they had, and I was like, I don't know why they would ever.
That was
Change that.
I think we've all said, like, we would prefer if, like, you got to become a Jarl. Like, you're, it's...
You're not going to become... Wait, do you get to become...
You can become I think there's a part where you can be, like, you can own a manor.
Like, no, you can't be a count in
That's not a
Oblivion.
count. Yeah, I don't think so.
You own a manor. It's haunted.
You-
There's a lich in it, too. You fight at the end. It's nice.
Oh, they have liches too. Liches is an RPG icon.
And they're pretty hard to fight.
That is another thing about Skyrim too. There is a wide versatility to the enemies you will fight in Oblivion. Skyrim not so much. Skyrim is going to be giants, Draugr, dragons, or trolls.
If you get high enough level, they have any warrior adventure, but he's going to smack your shit.
I wish Skyrim would have also been just a little bit colder, like.
Constant winter.
Well, like, if you read the lore on it, and I understand that they had to sacrifice it for playability, that way you could be, like, an Argonian or whatever, but Skyrim's supposed to be a freezing hellscape. It's supposed to be Siberia.
Like there's a reason.
And they turned it into Wisconsin. Like,
well, so like Rift, or not Riften, the one that's
It might be
it
Riften.
has the elk antlers, Folkreath. That's right. That's like a walk away from Bruma.
yeah,
And
it's
Bruma's a
snow.
fucking 6 inches of snow everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
And so, like, my biggest thing, like, your race kind of matters also in Oblivion. So, like, if you pick an
to carry
Argonian,
more weight.
if you pick an Argonian and you're born under a certain thing, the Dark Brotherhood almost automatically
Yeah, you get like
recruits
level
you.
2 when they send you the thing.
Yeah, they don't have to merge on. No, they automatically send you just because.
Shadow scale.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be the best killer.
I think it's gonna come back to like Skyrim's guilds were just so weak. Like the companions, I guess they weren't weak, but they weren't doing much. Like
And they were also just in Whiterun.
yeah,
That's the thing. Like, you can go to any city in Oblivion, and there's a fighter's mage guaranteed.
yeah, but that also gets super boring. Like,
That's true.
I guess it's just helpful if you gotta buy shit.
And don't you become the leaders of all the guilds if you wanted?
Yeah, but so do you in Skyrim.
You don't become the leader of the companions.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you can do
I
it.
thought it was someone else.
Because you go and heal him of his werewolf curse so that he can get into Sovngarde and set Piercene's shit. And he's like, you're the leader now.
But you don't do anything.
I mean, so you don't really do anything to become the leader, but you get to be him.
At least in Oblivion, if you were the champion, you got to be like you could be like, I want to focus more on recruitment, or I want to focus more on jobs, or
And like you had like a bunch of titles in Oblivion. In Oblivion, you had a bunch of titles, and the biggest thing was, do you want to become the Grey Fox? Because if you put the cowl on, everyone forgets you. And most people, it's like, this is a turning point. Do you want to be remembered or not?
do you have a choice to turn them down?
You can take... So they removed the curse from the Grey Cowl. Like, so you can take it off and on.
Yeah.
It's basically, I can put it on, come in, rob you blind, run off, and then take it off, and no one recognizes I'm the Grey Fox. And his bounty just goes up.
Yeah.
Which was already stupid, like, so it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter, I just robbed this poor shop owner for the third time this week.
It's just
Grey Fox.
The Grey Fox.
It's fucking Grey Fox, I don't know.
And the fact that you get to steal an Elder Scroll from a bunch of blind monks.
Yeah, and see,
it's
that
like
was,
one of the hardest things
You
ever.
get like 2 Elder Scrolls in Skyrim, though.
But they're not hard to get.
I don't know why, but the weight seems like it was a lot bigger in Oblivion.
Yeah. Well, you had to steal it from the Imperial Tower.
You had to go back the way you came in through under the jail cells. You can kill the prick across
There's
from
a
you.
big quest build up to it because, like, you're having to get these different pieces of armor in Oblivion. Like, you gotta get the boots of
You get to
Springhill
literally
Jack
go into a painting and fight a painting to retrieve
with
someone.
paint thinner.
It's
I remember that, too.
it's so fun. Like you get to go in people's dreams and fight.
All right, come on.
Okay, Garrett, number 1.
Well, I was gonna say wrap it up.
That's it.
We've been on.
It's, to me, a fantastic game.
We're just gonna keep. I only stopped you because we're gonna keep remembering older things from Oblivion, and we'll just be Oblivion podcast.
Yeah, see, Garrett, number 1.
Number 1's easy. It's Dungeons and Dragons. I currently play 5e. I'm all about it. I got hooked on it. I listened to what? It's 4 years ago. I listened to Critical Role for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, I'm done. This is now my favorite." I ran a couple sessions, one shots, and I can't get enough of it. I love story crafting. I love the choice it provides players. Like, I love that, like, if you want to bitch slap the tavern maid, you can. We'll see what happens. Like, I love the versatility. There's nothing, you can't get anything like that realistically in a video game just because you have an infinite video game. Whereas D&D runs off
I think
this.
the closest you're going to get is a Telltale game.
Not even. Like, most Telltale games are pretty
You get 4 choices.
dichotomy.
Yeah,
Like, so, I mean, the Man of Medan, there's these dark horror games that came out. There was one that was really popular. Before Dawn?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Those people have made sequels, and
They're
those are
so
the closest.
good.
They're
the
so
Quarry,
good.
yeah.
None of them are good as good as Until Dawn. I'm drinking water and I can't stop.
Oh, you have to play the Quarry. The Quarry's Until Dawn, but better and updated more. But continue.
I love everything about it. My wife bought me a D&D starter set plus a whole big box of minis that I still haven't gotten all painted yet, but I love it. I can't find anything wrong with it. If you find something wrong with the game... Oh, I do. There's one thing wrong with it, and that's getting a group together. It is fucking impossible. It's not just you guys. I've tried with you guys, and it's hard to get together.
The longest game is like 40-something years.
What?
The longest D&D game.
Oh yeah, you can play it for 40 years, but that's really up to you guys. Like, so if my players want to sit around and just do talk RP for, 4 sessions, I don't care. Do it. If you want to do combat story, I'll do it with you. Like I'll throw dragons and Draugr, and that's. I think the real down point is getting a group together. My first D&D group dissolved when COVID hit, and they never came back because they got work from home and basically bought a trailer and went, fuck all. And I don't blame them. Who could you blame? Like, they're using this time to travel. And it just seems to be a lot. And I hate... So there's a lot of opportunity to play, like, on Roll20, D&D Beyond. I cannot stand it. I cannot stand playing electronically, at least in the current environments. Talk to me in a couple of years. I'm working on something. But I can't stand playing on Roll20 or any of them. I have to, like, I want to be there with you guys. You know,
It's a lot better in person.
I think it is. But I think that's hands down my favorite. It's the great granddaddy of all RPG ever. Stranger Things blew it up. Critical Role blew it up. I think Critical Role had a bigger part to play than, and you know,
I think Stranger Things, especially for younger people.
Yeah, I would say if you haven't played D&D, and really that number is shrinking of people who haven't played at this point. But if you haven't, I strongly encourage you to play it. It's
Good,
gets you a good DM,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a blast. So, but that's pretty much it. That's my last one. Number
Okay.
one.
It's a good one. I like D&D. Wyatt?
I'm gonna go with Fallout New Vegas.
That's a good one.
Well, I'm just going to go to mine. Mine also was Fallout New Vegas.
All right, well, fight to the death. Only one of you gets it. Oh, fuck, Nick.
I really
got
wanted it.
yeah.
I really wanted it, man.
I thought you actually hit it. I was like, well, shit.
I would have turned.
But yeah. I mentioned it earlier. We were talking. They made the game in 6 months. They made the game. That alone is incredible. The fact that you can go from just a fucking code to playable in 6 months is unbelievable. Let alone.
Well, then what else did you say about it?
Oh, it also it set the record, and I think it still holds the record for the most lines of dialogue in a game, which is unbelievable because all those actors have to say all those words. It's easier on New Vegas and the Fallout games because they have the radio, so those count. Lyrics and stuff counts. Yeah, and it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable story.
I don't know that I've ever played New Vegas start to finish.
Oh,
It's so good. The only con is that you, at the very end when you finish, it tells you everything that happened because of your decisions, and I mean everything. If you interacted with a person and you did anything to them, it was probably going to mention it at the very end of the game. And but after that, the game was over. You didn't get to continue on past the Battle of Hoover Dam.
Mm-hmm.
You just
until DLCs came out, and then you got to continue.
And those were like the Mojave Desert and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's Mojave. You got the Old World Blues. You got you go to Utah and meet Joshua Graham, who's a Christian but owns a lot of 1911s and fights. Covered in bandages, is so cool.
Oh, the burned man?
He's the burned man. He's an old legionary.
He's a dude that Caesar had burned alive and thrown over the Hoover Dam. And he survived, and he's got all these bandages, and he's got some of the wisest fucking quotes. And not wise, he's not wise, but I'm just saying, for a video game.
He's heavy.
So he's an old Mormon, so a lot of it has to do with, scripture. So that's why a lot of people like it. And it's so good. You get to go on a drug trip and fight flaming Yaogwai, which is radioactive bears.
Yeah, it's a high quality game.
My biggest thing is you have so many choices. You know how, you said, not every game gives you a lot of choices? Fallout New Vegas, there are 100 different choices to do things for one thing. It's you can massacre an entire town. You can leave one person in the town. There's so many. So say you kill someone, they were critical to the role. Well, now you got to go to somebody else or do something else to figure this out.
I think it's perfect.
It is a true RPG.
At level 1, right out of the fucking... Because you get shot in the head at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, the gangster in the suit, right?
Best quote in any video game. This is right before we shoot you. The game was rigged from the start.
Bang. And then, basically, level 1, you can go out, you can go across the river and kill Caesar. Or as they call him Kaiser. Because they didn't know how it was pronounced. So,
right.
you can kill him at level, 2 if you wanted to. So, and, you can kill Mr. House at level 2 with a fucking golf club and it gives you an achievement.
You can kill everyone in the game. No one is essential. But if you kill everyone,
except kids, right?
I don't think there's kids in the game. I think that's the whole reason, because there's an achievement.
I know there's kids in Fallout 3.
Because there's an achievement. There's an achievement you get for killing everybody.
I don't think so.
How did you find that achievement, Nick?
I watch a guy on YouTube who does his specific things, achievements through games, and literally say you kill this person and they were essential to a quest. Well, now you got to figure out how to. The quest doesn't say quest failed. You got to figure out how you're going to continue that quest without that person.
Love it. Like, I might have to play New Vegas now.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and it's the small stuff you'll see. So like if you were there's this group of people that's called the Boomers, and they literally they have RPGs. That's why they're called the fucking Boomers, and they lock onto you. So they literally are protected by a fence and fucking rockets. So nobody fucks with them, and they live on an airfield. So what they want to do is they want to fucking fly one of these goddamn planes. So you have to go if you make friends with them. You can, and this is totally optional. You can say, fuck that, I don't want to go near them. Fuck them. Or you can be friends with them, and if you're friends with them and you help them fix their fucking plane out of the lake, they will, at the very end of the game, fly the plane and bomb the entire top of the dam. And it's just a small little detail like that you notice, and you're like, holy shit.
That's that fucking plane I pulled out of the lake.
Right.
There's so many options. And so, like, the game doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you where to go. You got to figure things out. And
those can be a little frustrating, especially hugely expansive games.
So
it'll
give you an icon, but once you're in the building, you got to find it. But
it's not like pinpoint accurate.
So, but like most games nowadays, they have level areas. You should be this level to be in here. This
the little warnings.
New Vegas doesn't do that. If you want to go and fight, it's a quarry that's full of death claws.
Death claws. Oh my god, I've seen
it. It is the strongest death claws in the game are in the quarry. And unless you want to go around it to New Vegas, or you can go past it to New Vegas, and going past it's quicker, you ain't going to get past it.
You're going to die, though.
Yeah.
So I never played New Vegas, but I've either seen you guys, I think a bunch of my friends played it too. But I remember that fucking quarry because he would post up and he'd have a sniper rifle and he'd shoot down at the quarry. He's like, I've got to kill it before it gets to me. And there was no, like, it was, he wasn't good enough.
And there's so much stuff.
I do like the death claws better in Fallout 4.
I like the
They're
look.
more, like,
together.
Yeah. Give me the look of Fallout New Vegas, but the size of Fallout 4.
Well, I like the look and I like everything more in Fallout 4 because
Yeah.
they can grab rocks and shit.
See, but so
we also have to consider that these are like 15 years apart. Like you can't judge it based on graphics.
So the problem with me is like the ones in New Vegas, like the horns are clearly larger. The claws are larger.
But in Fallout 4, there's also, like, as you progress to get the death claws, you get some with real big horns.
Here's the problem that I have with Fallout 4 is, what do you do at the beginning of the game?
Get shot.
Kill a death claw.
You kill a death claw. They're no longer a threat.
Oh,
they're no longer packed
They're
animals.
only on a threat when you're in...
No, because they're not packed animals.
That does frustrate me, the fact that you can't be in power armor till you complete the
you have to be trained to work the power armor, which I kind of like. It's like, this suit could kill you because you don't know how to work it. But
they made it a vehicle in Fallout 4.
So the problem I have in Fallout 4 is they're no longer pack animals, which takes the threat of them almost to zero because...
I don't fucking think so. I got killed by plenty of death claws in Fallout 4. Did you? What?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
so I got my ass beat.
So how hard was one death claw?
Glowing death claw?
How hard?
Me up at level 42.
But how hard was it? Now imagine 5 glowing death claws that are all charging.
Yeah, why would I imagine that? That sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
It was like that's the beautiful. So death claws, lore wise, are packed animals.
You want a fucking nightmare? I'll give you a
nightmare.
nightmare.
There's a spot out of the map that has it's the most death claws. There's like 50 of them. And it has the best power armor in the game. It has the X01. And if you want it, you got to go get it.
Oh, yeah, it's like an Easter egg. You got to kill all these death claws to get to it.
And that's the beauty. It's like, there's never just one death claw. There's at least 3. And if you kill one, that's great.
In the glowing sea, there's typically more than one death claw.
But that's only in the glowing sea. How often are you in the glowing sea?
I mean, how often are you going to get the X01?
You don't have to be. That's the thing about death claws. Is like they're almost, at once a certain level, they're almost everywhere in the Mojave. And they're always in groups of 3.
That sounds terrible.
Oh, it's terrifying. Especially when you walk out of a cave and you see 5 of them just coming at you.
Yeah. It was kind of cool because you got to replay it each time.
Yeah.
And, you were forced to replay it.
Yeah, because you couldn't start off from where you left.
Right. Yep.
Great companions. Great music. I love the music in New Vegas.
Well, the music in the Fallout series is just
top,
great.
Top.
They call me the Wanderer.
I'm a Big Iron fan.
Well, y'all got anything else to say about it?
It's a great game. I highly recommend playing. I mean, if you haven't, most people think I have.
We need to break down some video games like the Oblivion shit. Like we just need to just break that down. Skyrim deserves a whole.
They do.
They do. Red Dead Redemption is going to deserve all one. Like, there's going to be a lot. That actually wouldn't sound like... Especially, if we feel like we've been at each other's throats for a while. Like, we might just take it one and, like, let's talk about something we can agree on. Arthur Morgan is a damn good character.
Yes.
So I guess let's recap our lists. Nick?
So we got Skyrim, NCAA 14, Red Dead Redemption 2, Oblivion, New Vegas.
Get what?
I've got Red Dead, Warzone, then Oblivion, Minecraft, and then Fallout New Vegas.
Garrett.
I got Spore, Oblivion, Skyrim, Chess, and Dungeons and Dragons.
All good list. I recommend playing all the games.
Yeah, play all the games. That's, how else are we going to survive 2020?
If you can't play chess, checkers. Good enough.
And that's where we should cut.
Alrighty, well thank you for watching us. Hopefully y'all enjoy us. Hopefully y'all like video games too. If not, leave in the comments y'all's top 5 games you love playing.
Yeah, fight about it.
Yeah. And if New Vegas isn't one, you can be wrong. It's up to you.
Alright, we'll see y'all next time.
Yep.